In this video I want to give tips from a beginner to a beginner that I felt were missing in all the videos I watched. For everything else I will link to other creators who have great videos for you to cover specific topics. Check the timeline to jump to the chapters you are interested and find all the links to the apps and gear in the description. So I ordered the DJI Mini 3 Pro on the release day and I waited about 20 days until it arrived. I was so excited to see the delivery truck entering my area. The Fly More kit even took some more days to arrive. But I was very happy that I ordered it because this was a great idea to do. I often need 2 or even more batteries for one flight. For the charging situation I used one of my iPhone fast chargers on the batteries and it worked really well. Then I tried a different fast charger on the RC with an USB-C to USB-C cable, but even it blinked quick, it didn't charge, not even overnight. So I daisy chained the RC with a USB-C to USB-A cable to the batteries and then it worked as expected. In this scenario it always charges the batteries first, but you also can just unplug the batteries and then it charges the remote directly. As expected before my first flight I needed to do an update. The channel of DM Production does a great explanation about all the updates for the Mini 3, I'll link them here and down in the description. I bought also some 128GB microSD cards, and here I started already with the first task, getting these little guys into the drone. First I thought my microSD card slot was broken, but then I figured that I had to push it really deep into the slot. That worked only without the battery. That bothered me so much that I redesigned a microSD card case with little noses, so I can use them to eject the card. I will post all the things I print here on my Thingiverse and will link them below. But somehow I did not like the case that much and therefore I designed a very simple microSD card ejector myself. And this one works great. I will give a bunch of them away for free, including some signed wetblade cards, and I will tell you all about that at the end of the video. I also struggled a lot at the beginning to get the gimbal protection on. So the easiest way is to hold the drone with the gimbal up, center the gimbal and put the protection on like that. Now a quick tip how I put the drone together into my bag. I put the propellers together on both sides, like I show it here, and put it that way into my case. Other and from my point of view a better solution for that is to use these propeller protectors. You can also find them on my Thingiverse again. I didn't design them, I just modified them because the original were too tight. These fit perfectly and by the way I printed them with a TPU filament. A quick bonus tip how to get the battery out of the drone when it's put together. Just put your fingers in here, push down the propellers a little bit and get the battery out, so you don't have to collapse the propellers off for that. I love and recommend the belt and the construction from Roboterwerk. It's very well built and perfectly balances the RC remote and makes flying a lot easier. And the cool thing is that even with the belt everything fits perfectly in the bag that comes with the Fly More kit. You need to wrap around the belt on the back side of the RC so you don't scratch the screen. And then you put the RC in the bag that comes with the Fly More kit. Now you put in the batteries and this little pillow protects perfectly the screen. At the end you put in the drone and fold the strap together. Before we start, a quick recommendation for the use of a drone in Austria. You need to be insured and have to be registered with the Austria Control, and you also must have your license number on the drone. There are also lots of restrictions in Austria, but the ÖAMTC drone app helps a lot there. It shows in detail where you can fly and where you need a special permission. It even shows the phone numbers you have to call for these permissions. Before you drive somewhere to fly your drone to capture a beautiful castle, for example, you should get an idea where the sun will be. This will help you to capture great images. For that, and also for normal photography jobs, I always use my Sun Survivor app. That shows you where and when the sun will be in the area you want to fly. The cool thing is that you have a live view option to see where the sun is now, and there you also can travel in time. You can watch it on maps, and there you can also travel in time. But even cooler, you can also check where the sun is in street view and where it will be. This is a great app for every photographer. I didn't buy any of these landing mats, I just used one of my reflectors I have as a photographer. And that makes life easier if you want to start or land your drone in grassland, for example. If you feel comfortable, you can land and start your drone from the palm of your hand, but do this at your own risk. As soon as you see that there is a gust of wind, that can be very dangerous. I do it only when there is no wind at all. For starting, I use the automatic start option on the controller. And for landing, I just place my hand underneath the drone and push the hand slowly upwards until the drone moves away. I push the left stick down until the drone lands on my hand. This will work not in sport mode. In sport mode, the drone will not use any of the sensors, so you can easily crash your drone like I did here. Luckily nothing was damaged. This happened because I thought that the drone will fly exactly the same way back as it flew forward. But that was not the case. That's why I crashed it into some leaves, so be aware of it. Just because you could fly the drone in sports mode in one direction, it doesn't mean it will come exactly the same way. On the channel of DM Production you find also a video that explains all the settings, and you find also videos how to make better drone videos. For that I also can recommend the channel of 51 Drones. I will link also the website down below where I get all my music and my special effects from. Here is a clip from my last video where you can see what I learned from them. I haven't found a good explanation about HDR video, so that's why I want to explain it here. I double checked it with DJI support and these guys were super helpful. DJI mentions in their datasheet that HDR video is only possible up to 4K 30 and not 4K 60, but that is not how I understand the definition of HDR video. Let me explain. When you capture your footage in the d-cinelike color profile, you get 10-bit color no matter what you use 4K 30 or 4K 60. This footage has no HDR profile baked in, so it will not look as bright on an HDR enabled device. An HDR footage from an iPhone has an HDR profile baked in and will look bright on an HDR enabled device. HDR footage cannot be captured properly with screen capture, that's the reason it looks funny like that. What DJI means with the HDR is that there is a greater dynamic range by using multiple exposures. Let me show you. Like here for example, you have an underexposed, a normal exposed and an overexposed image, and when you bake them together you get a more dynamic range and less grain in the dark areas. That means in 4K 30 you will get a better video quality. This cannot be done in 4K 60 because of the higher frame rate. And now there comes the great thing. With a flat color profile and 10-bit color you can create wonderful HDR footage in Final Cut. For that you must enable it in the library and also in the project. Now you can color grade to create a wonderful HDR video. By the way, all my recent videos are done in HDR. I'll link 2 great tutorials for color grading down below. One is from Sean Tucker and the other one is from Tyler Salman. Now a short example of a puppy seat field that I captured with the d-cinelike profile and then color graded in Final Cut. When you only press the physical shutter button on your RC remote control, it can happen that your images are slightly out of focus. By tapping on the screen where you want to focus and then pressing the shutter button, my pictures were always in focus. And now finally I'll let you know how you can get a free microSD card ejector and also some of my signed wet plate cards. The easiest option is to become a patron. Then you get 2 of them. Otherwise, the first 15 of you who follow me on Instagram and Twitter and subscribe to my channel and leave a comment why you want one will get also one with some of my cards. Please also comment your Instagram account, I will write you there for the shipping details. After the first 15 I will draw more after some weeks. No worries, I printed lots of them. I hope this was helpful for you guys and as always, thanks for watching and I'll be back.